now we gotta just change our gear and just concentrate. We've been concentrating on the next opponent. So a lot to be learned from our loss, and hopefully you'll see some of that in our game this week. So Thursday. So our kids have had a great attitude. We're in a good place. I think we learned a ton from the film. The coaches learned a ton from the film. It's amazing. I've been coaching this thing for so long, and every day there's something. Wow, how come it took me 40 years to realize that? So it's really important that we continue to grow, and we will. So we got the league is crazy right now. There's a lot of people competing for the championship. There's a lot of people competing for the first 4 spots. The double bye, I don't know. We haven't had the double bye in the last 2 years, and we did all right. But at the same time, we want to get into going after that championship. One way you got to do that is you got to beat Nebraska Thursday. So we'll be excited to get out there and play again.
Andrew,
with Charles, if you can go back, a few years, you don't take on too many transfers. Just sort of the vetting process. Were you able to actually?
It was actually a cold call from his coach too, Gary DeCesar, who I have known because he was the assistant coach at Richmond. After I left, he was with Jerry Wainwright's staff, but I knew him when he was at St. Raymond's. But we didn't have a relationship where we would even talk or anything like that. And he just called me and said, "I think this would be a great fit for Charles." I think it came down to us and Xavier. He was weighed both of them. Xavier certainly had some great years, and he chose us. And it was really we're just so fortunate to have had him these 3 years. Really, I look back when he was on that scout team, how much better he made our guys. That turned out to be a year where we went to the Sweet 16 and won the Big Ten championship.
As far as you wanting to see him, though, I mean, would it just be high school tape, or is he your Kentucky?
I watched. The vetting was unbelievable. Yeah, we talked with lots of people who knew him. I watched a lot of high school tape. The Kentucky clubs were so limited. You couldn't tell a lot other than you could guard people and you could go in and rebound, but you couldn't see what we wanted to see. But we just after we got to know him on his visit and the whole thing, we just said this is a natural thing, and had no idea what we were getting as a man. He's been incredibly responsible and accountable. No idea what we were getting as a defender, and just a no maintenance for 3 guys type of young man. No idea. You always know they're 19 years old. You never know what can happen. He's just been a real pleasure to coach and be around.
Tim?
John, obviously your teams are known for peaking in March, late February, March. Have you seen that same effect of the team improving in this stage of the season happening this year?
I mean, we've played really well in the past years. A lot of that depends on who you're playing, where you're playing them. The peak. Coaches get too much credit or whatever. You may have played just in the right spot or a right team during that time. So I believe we're playing it pretty good, but I believe we also cannot be a victim of some early success that all of a sudden we're the best team in college basketball because we beat Villanova because they were champion. Well, they've been okay, right? They're an NCAA team probably, and we had some really good wins, early with Purdue, right? And Purdue is a different team now than before. So you got to be careful about, are we getting better every day? Yes, but are others getting better? They might be getting better than you. So we just got to keep working at it. And like I said, our big thing has been we need some bench, and we're trying like crazy, but it hasn't happened yet. And that's where we don't do when we peak. When Mo Wagner got tired, Mark Donnell went in, or when Mo Wagner got tired, John Teskey went in. We still can't find that. We're trying.
What do you think it is that makes your teams generally start clicking at that point in the season? Anything behind it?
I don't know. I really don't know. Because I think that's been a trend over time. I hope that's been a trend over time. Can't always say it's always happened, but I hope that the individual development that we get. My assistants tell me it's the amount of film watching and individual development that continues on. Even though you got a game the next day, no, we're working on layups, we're working on shooting, we're looking on finding the seams in the ball right now. So that's what my assistants tell me. I don't know any different.
Mike, speaking of the bench, how much did you evaluate Brandon John? Where's he at in terms of his development? And what would you like to see him do?
Yeah, every day we're making strides. Every day they're making strides. But Hasn't been able to stand out from the other guys, and all of them, it's a step forward and a step backwards, step forward, step backwards. As I said before, you're going to have freshmen that are going to be like this. And I said, two pros that come to mind are DJ Wilson and Morris Wagner. I mean, DJ couldn't get on the court as a sophomore. And all of a sudden it sort of comes together. So you just keep working with them, you keep working with them. Don't assess too much. You just keep working with them.
Are there specific things you wanted to work on right now?
Yeah. We don't have that much time, right? And that's with every freshman. We have a lot of things to do, and he will get there. He will get there. And he's a great kid. He works really, really hard. But I'm not going to give you a scouting report on him so that our opponents can know when he does get in the game.
All right.
He's a great kid to coach, and we love having him here.
All right.
On the offense, have you shown your team tape of, when playing against North Carolina, Purdue, and said, this is what you guys can do, this is where you can be?
I don't think we've shown them that. I think we do some things where we have highlight videos. We should send them little GIFs, where they can see themselves going over and over again. But as your scouting report gets out there, those are games where we were one team, and all of a sudden people start taking certain things away or guarding you differently. Then you got to counter, and if you're not as good as your counter, right, then all of a sudden it's a different thing. It's just really hard, and that's all of it. You'll see these scores in the 50s right now that might have been in the 80s in November because people know what each other's trying to do. But we do a lot of that with the positive reinforcement of showing the shots you made or the plays that you made, and we probably will do that more when we have that week off next week. We don't have a game and we're on spring break.
It seems like back then, that North Carolina game, that Purdue game, AD, Charles, and Jordan were all playing really well at the same time. Is it important to get all three of them on at the same time?
It would be great to have everybody, but that's been the biggest mystery so far. But it's really helped us because we just don't have one or two guys, and if they have a bad game, you have no chance. We've got 5 guys that if 2 or 3 guys didn't have a good day, then the other 3, somebody else would pick them up. We're very fortunate that we've had that good balance. I think it's led to why we have the record we have right now. I mean, we have as many wins in the Big Ten as we had last year, right? And probably the Big Ten's better than it was last year. So we've had a pretty good year, even though I don't think we've been where everybody was just like playing it at their best.
Over here with Craig.
Yeah, Coach, it feels like you're falling on the coaching sword in the MSU game, and when I watched the tape, it felt more like just execution failures. I mean, you missed 4 point-blank layups, you miss a key 1-and-1, you're 5 of 24 from 3 until the last minute, most of the shots look good. They're going under screens, you're getting good looks, or they're ending up with McQuaid on Teskey and your team doesn't find Teskey. It just felt more like a kind of execution game, or am I seeing it wrong?
Well, go back. When did I fall on the coaching sword?
That's what it sounded like you were
for
saying.
Me?
Yeah.
For me? No. I just don't want to blame my players. I just want to say, coaches get way too much credit for winning and way too much acclamation for winning, right? And way too much blame for losing.
But I mean,
you just lose games. You just miss shots.
That's what it looked like to me.
Right, and that's how I hoped I would portray it. But they really, like I said, Tom. Yeah, I may be wrong because I don't watch Michigan State. They have never played that defense ever. That they play that particular brand and style. You'll have to figure out what it is, right? I know what it is, but we weren't ready for it. Never. It's not no scout reports. And now you got to pick it up and do it. And you got to have you have to have a really good game, and then one of your players is injured early and doesn't have a game, so we lose the game.
Okay. Nick,
with Jordan specifically, he's one of these guys that sometimes he's really good, sometimes he's his way. It's still
Yep.
What do you guys do with him to work on staying?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think that some young men, when they get tired, it's a great question. When they get tired, all of a sudden they don't think as quickly, and that's what we have to watch with him right now. And so that's important that we keep an eye on that. I've really instructed my assistants. We got to watch him because I'm not watching who's tired. And that was a directive from me. We got to watch Poole more because he'll have some tremendous moments, and then all of a sudden he really had a tough game the other day. And so he's better than that. We know he's better than that because he was spectacular at Minnesota, offensively, defensively. So we know we got both. Now we got to find a way to get him pressure, right, and get him to try to make, the right plays.
That's a pretty tough spot, though. How do you shave his minutes at this point?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. So I think in these games, I think as we go forward, David DeJulius is going to have to go in there and just play the 2 guard. Just going to have to play it some way just to get him out of there for, maybe get him to a 30 minutes if that's what it takes to get him there. But usually, sometimes we don't have a choice if somebody's in foul trouble or whatever. But David, Eli's played a lot there, and Eli is really a good defender, so he just goes and plays. We haven't been able to make shots. We'll see what we can do with David. And David made, and Eli might just go right in too. He had a great day in practice yesterday, but he was on the scout team, right? Had a great day. So, and it's it's very similar. When David's on the scout team, he's tremendous. Put him on that blue jersey, everything usually changes for everybody. It's very natural.
Over here with John.
A couple things. You talked about how much you learned from that last game. Without giving away too much, can you talk about the types of things that you learned as a team?
No.
Okay.
No. We didn't play the ball screen defense very well, but that wasn't anything they did special. It was just a complete failure of us to execute the small things that you have to do in a ball screen. I can't tell you why it happened because we've been really, really good at it, and you're doing it. You just happen to pick that day to do it against one of the premier ball screen players in the country.
Okay.
So that's what we learned, that you have to be able to. A team, they're running so many more ball screens than they used to run, right? At one time there was 4 of them, boom, 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 the same one, back and forth. And finally we broke down. But Teskey's tired because we haven't been able to get a backup for him, and we didn't have a great Xavier, didn't have a great game.
The other thing is on Xavier, what's the single biggest step forward that he's taken this year?
I think he understands that he has to shoot the ball still, and what a good shot really looks at, and that he's really seeing the floor just really well. I mean, he from last year, even at this time, but particularly early in the year, he'd take an extra dribble that would spoil something on the fast break. He's really been on time, on target. You just look at his numbers, and it's really, he's had a heck of a year. And then obviously the foul shooting right now is just, it's terrific. It's as good as we've had it. It's like, as good as Derek Walton's numbers were, and we know Derek was automatic from the line.
Hello.
John, a little bit off topic. You talked a little bit earlier in the season about the NOAA system that you guys have to measure guys' arcs on the shots. So just in the course of your career, how much has the available technology changed the way guys can work on their skills and how you prepare for games?
Shoot, with this catapult right now I have a report of who used what in the game. Like yesterday, we had Brandon Johns didn't hit the number, so he was running afterwards. Just so we make sure if he's got to go in for 10 minutes, he's in shape to do that. And so, no, that's huge. Between that, obviously the video, I mean, I go way back then when I didn't even have it on my computer. It was just reel to reel, and you'd be watching it for endless and stop, start. And now you're cutting it on a computer. So I did all the offensive cuts again. I did the entire game by myself. My assistants all cut it too, but I need to see it. So I cut the whole Michigan State game. I had 103 cuts. I did. So you could have done that before, but I don't want to see. I want all our assistants to see it independently and then come to me with their observations. I need to see it independently so that I can go to them with my observations, as opposed to somebody feed me what they think I need to see. So it's big, but the Noah's Ark has been good. Using the ball we use has been great. You gotta stay up with things.
Go back to Orion.
No. Just following up on Poole, if teams are switching screens, how important is he when it comes to being a big man?
Yeah, I mean that's really important. If you look at our assist numbers, they're way down, and so they're not down that much as a team, 30 or 40 from last year at this time in league play. Right, but it's got to be. You don't have much time on a switch of a ball screen. Remember, you got a 7-foot guy on you, 6'8" guy with his hands up, and you're trying to see. Yeah, John's got Cassius Winston on him underneath. You just can't do this, right? Throw it in there. You got a big guy on. You got to fake him up, fake him down. You got to put it on time, on target. Weak side's coming in. Everybody sees that. It's got to be quick. And right now, a couple of our guys can do it, a couple of our guys can't, and that's my job to work at that.
Zach?
Charles, when you mentioned when he was on his visit here, you said he felt like a natural fit. Statistically, I don't know if that was the case then. I mean, could you speak to why you felt he was natural and then his ability to kind of change his game to be?
Well, I thought one of the best fits was, and he's proved it here, that he was an excellent student. And he has had predominantly B's, and A's the entire time he's here. And there's never been an issue in the classroom. He's not a guy that just came here with a lot of pro aspirations and that we were running him for a year or two while he became a pro. He's been serious about it. If he chooses to finish his college career this year, he's just a couple credits short of graduation. It's going to be tremendous. So that's where the big natural fit is. And then we need a defender and an athlete. We were losing Zach Irvin, right? And just somebody that could step in there and be that three-man, that wolf that we talked about. He's done tremendously.
And then with the defense beyond just the ball screens, is there anything that concerns you beyond just that game and facing Cassius as far as long-term habits or trends?
Yeah, I mean, no matter when you're playing games at this time of the year, it is very hard to practice hard on fundamentals of defense because you'll be wearing yourself out in practice and you won't be as good. And so as a result, our gaps are not real good right now, and you got to be into the gaps. You got to show bodies right there. I think we've done a pretty good job at boxing out. One-on-one defense is it's okay, but when we give help and when we don't give help, it's been sporadic, and we'll work on it today. But like I said, you just can't go out there and say, hey, we're going to get better in these 2 hours today. We'll be tremendous. We could do that right now, and all of a sudden legs are dead, especially as we trying to develop these other players. Now we do that a lot with our younger guys, as we watch this process unfold.
Got time for a few more, Chris and then James.
No, you're not making excuses for him, but how much did the ankle limit Charles in that game, and where is he now?
It affected him a lot. It really did. He was never comfortable the whole time that he was out there. So he did a little bit yesterday. He's going to try and do more today, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Okay. I won't know until probably after practice today or after shoot around.
But he hasn't been doing a whole lot of running on it?
No.
Okay.
No. It's probably a good thing we just rested.
Yep. And then Nebraska's defense, can you just talk about what challenges they pose in that area?
They steal the ball. They're getting 7 steals a game. They got length. They play the 1-3-1 zone 10% of the time. So that's always a challenge for everybody because I think we've only seen it a couple of times this year. And so there's that. They're an excellent defensive transition team. Like Michigan State, they're one of the better ones. And the same thing on offense. Their offensive transition is really good too. So they got as many guys back from last year as we have back from last year as far as who played in those 2 great games, right? They got Roby and then Palmer and then point guard Watson. Those 3 guys, and we got the same 3 guys, and so it is they got a good team. They have a disappointing year because they lost a key guy. They just losing Copeland is huge. It would be like us losing one of our guys. And they're like most of the teams in this league. None of the teams in this league are deep. They're just not deep. We're crying about it. Everybody's like this. We got guys transfer. You get guys going pro. You got freshmen. You're trying to fit in there. There's very few Iggies out there that just come in and can play. More of them are like what we have right now, and that's all over the league. So it's a good team. It'd be a great win for us. To number 25, 14 in the league, that's really good.
James?
John Charleston has your availability.
Yep.
You guys celebrating your senior night tomorrow? Is this it for him?
Yeah. Well, that's his decision. We wanted to make sure that we had this opportunity. It may make very much sense for him, but we have to. I'm sure that he'll go through the normal channels of doing it. But I don't like it when he's been here. He's going to graduate. He's not going to have to come back another year. We just decided this was, as he continued to change, this is his 4th year of college, right? And we've had senior nights for guys before that had an extra year coming. So why not do it for him?
And then you mentioned how crazy the Big Ten is. I mean, do you feel like with Michigan State, you guys still have as good a chance to go on?
Absolutely. We got to win games on the road, and the odds would be against it. But we've had that before. Who would have said last year? We had 2 games to go. We're going to go to win Penn State and go to Maryland and win to finish out. And then we're going to go to New York City and we're going to end up winning that damn thing. Who knows, right? So, yes, absolutely. We believe we can still win this thing. We are a game out of first place. It is February 27th. We're competing for a Big Ten championship. That's a big goal for us. Not the only goal, but that's a huge goal. If you are still competing for a Big Ten championship and it's almost damn March, you're having a heck of a year.
Coach, what about the desperation factor on the other side of that for Nebraska? I mean, they come in here losing 2 straight, and I'm sure that they would like to get this game.
No,
How much more dangerous do they become with that in mind?
Every team is so dangerous in the Big Ten. I mean, you just look at what's happened with several games. What Illinois did with Michigan State, what Penn State did with us. I mean, both those games, you know, the media probably thinks those are mismatches. They're not even close to mismatches. And I don't care if you're Indiana going to Michigan State and winning, right? These things are just happening. If you, for 1 second, think, we got this, you don't got it. Yeah, you got to take them all the same. They're all on scholarships. We got brilliant coaches in this league, great staffs. We have to be ready for this game because they're a very good team, and they could beat us.
You know, there's been a lot of talk in here about Michigan State in that game, what happened in that game. But what about moving forward as far as just concentrating on this and improving the offensive rhythm that you seem to lack in that game? I mean, how would you try to regain that this time?
Well, there's some things we got to do to make sure that we're working at it better. But we scored 70 points. We scored 70 points against a team that gives up 60, right? The offense was not the issue. It wasn't pretty. That defense was the issue. 77 points and a lot of layups and open threes in the first half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
I mean, we only score 72 a game as it is, I think. Don't we, Tom? I don't know.
70.3.
70.3. We scored our average. We just give up 60. We gave up 77. That was the difference in that game. All right, thanks, everyone.
Appreciate it.